Why do you think you need a conference? When you have different associations, you have different groups. For instance, you have the Northern Reawakening Forum, you have the Northern Elders Forum, you have different forums that can sit down at different times and look at the issues and how to go about it. Why would you be calling for another conference that would require expending a lot of money that we say the nation is limited in resources right now?
You see, I want you to understand the point I'm making. You see, it is not for any group, not either Northern Reawakening Forum or Northern Elders or whatever forum, you know, to sit down and discuss and come up with a development plan that government will use. It is the responsibility of government to come up with its plan on how to tackle it. Because first of all, it's government that is spending the money to rebuild, although there is a lot of private, support, and donations to the initiative of rebuilding the Northeast. But it's a governmental issue. It's not for any forum. What we are saying is we're advising that government should not go and reinvent the wheel by, starting to see how they could plan this issue. They could easily get tap from those that have gone through these experiences and find the best possible way and put a plan in place. Because one of the problems we have in this country, not only the North, is that we often do not use, the statistics as provided, for us for the purpose of planning. And this is one of the resolutions of the Northern Reawakening Forum. We are urging the governments of the northern states to ensure that they use statistics for the purpose of planning.
So
now,
you then agree, sorry to interrupt you, Honorable, because we're running out of time now. You then agree that the conference is not exactly needed. If you say that government is the one spending the money and government should have a plan, then what exactly is the essence of the conference that you're calling for?
Yeah, to come up with a plan. It's as simple as that. You see, if you have monies that you want to expend to develop a particular region, you must have a roadmap. How do you deploy these monies?
But you said it's not the role of any conference or any group of people to come up with that. It is the role of government. So
yeah,
why does government need to call a conference for that?
That they should not go into this matter without, a roadmap, without a plan. What we're saying is call, maybe the word conference, has a particular meaning in Nigeria. It's just a summit or a workshop of people with experiences that will guide you and help you develop a document that will tell you this is how to go about it.
So assuming government were to find a way, sorry to interrupt you again, but assuming government were to find a way to involve the people directly involved in the matter, that's the people whose lives they're going to be impacted with their rebuilding plans, which might not necessarily be a conference, would you have a problem with that?
You see, there are ways that things are done, and if you have a conference or a summit or a workshop, various categories of stakeholders, including the people affected, would have an opportunity. All we are saying is create a platform where you get the input of relevant people. I don't care what you call it. You can call it conference, you can call it summit, whatever engagement it is, create a platform and have a plan. That's all we're saying. Don't just go take money and just go to work without a plan. This is the advice we're giving the government. And therefore, we don't have a problem in nomenclature of what it is called. But the fundamental thing I would like Nigerians to understand is that this forum did not, at any point in time, call for a repeat, because the papers have been unfair to us. We did not call for a repeat of what had happened. The last national conference has been held. There are a lot of, good things in that conference. There are a lot of things that, a lot of people oppose, So it's up to the government to pick those that they want to pick and leave those that they're not comfortable with.
Honorable,
we're not asking for that to happen again.
Honorable, just a moment now. What you're essentially asking for is that government comes up with a plan before going into the Northeast to rebuild. Am I right?
Yeah.
So if government does come up with a plan that seeks to include people without exactly convening a conference or a summit, would that be fine for you?
That's exactly what I'm saying. If the government feels, it has an opportunity of aggregating, opinions, getting people to share their experiences, because I don't think we've had this experience of rebuilding a particular zone after a devastation like this in Nigeria. Perhaps the last we had was maybe during the Biafran War, after Biafra. But that's a long time. And in fact, even those that were involved in that can share experiences as to how to go about it. What were the mistakes that were done at that time? How did they build other places like Rwanda, which went through a lot of genocide and what have you, And there are templates. And what we're saying is not just coming from the blues. We know that these things have happened in other places. There's a way that it has been done, and this, and there has been concrete plans that have been put, and some of these plans have been followed through, and results have been achieved. This is what we're saying should happen in this case. We do not want a situation where, in a typical way, we take resources, go to work without a plan. Whatever platform that will be put together to come up with this plan, we are okay with it. All we're saying is, don't just take money and go and throw at, because these are monies, not only government money, but even private individuals, philanthropists who have contributed a lot of that.
Now, assuming this conference is going to take place, because you just held a private conference or a private party, your group, ensured that party took place. Assuming this conference were to take place, this conference you're calling for was to take place, who would you say should fund it?
It is the responsibility of government, to decide how to go about funding it. It's not for me or anybody for that matter to tell you how government should go about funding it. Government has a lot of resources. For instance, Victim Support Fund is a government initiative. But government asked private individuals to contribute money. And they contributed money. So it's left to government, whether government is going to fund it, whether the private sector will be encouraged to fund it, whether it's going to be the Friends of Nigeria Development Partners, what have you. It's up to government. Nobody can sit down and tell you that this is the best way to go about funding something like this. For me, what is important is to have a plan before you go about executing it, because this is one of the bane of the problem that we have in this country. There isn't a lot of plan that goes into some of the things we do. That's why oftentimes you see that at the end of the day, the results or the outcomes are not as expected in many of the undertakings that we do. So this is the advice.
Honorable, sorry, we're almost out of time now, but essentially what you seem to be envisaging is something rather grand. Quite a number of people will say that conferences are not very good at producing plans. People just go there, talk. Oftentimes, they come up with a report that is many times never implemented. How optimistic are you that if this conference takes place and government is able to source funding from wherever, that government will be able to implement what it is that the conference comes up with?
You see, that is why there are groups such as ours. That's why there are a number of non-governmental organizations that are always calling attention of government and other interested, stakeholders to what needs to be done by government, and to continuously remind government of their responsibility. In fact, that's the essence of the call in the first place that we're making. That government needs, to go. Now, what perhaps, the story that has gone out to distort the whole thing about a national conference to replace the one that was done, which is all false, has really taken, a lot of people's attention. However, what we are saying is, it is very important for government to have a plan. It is the responsibility of interested parties to call on government on this and other issues, to always call attention that the way you are going about this is not right. You must go it this way or that way. So it is the responsibility of organizations such as ours and similar organizations to continue to always engage government to make sure that government does the right thing and give advice to government to make sure, because the responsibility of governance is not only for those in power, it is for every well-intentioned, well-meaning, either Nigerian or group of Nigerians.
Okay, Mr. Kumaila, you were part of the 2014 National Conference. The report has been done and submitted. What's your position right now as regards that report? What would you want done with it?
It's not for me, to take a position. As part of that conference, I did my best in trying to make sure that we had a report that was reflective of the consensus of majority of the members. Like I said earlier, there are issues that I want to see implemented in that report. There are issues that, I have concerns which perhaps the majority had its way, and the previous government had handed the report over to this government. So it's left for the government. I'm not in government. It's not my take to, advise one way or another. For instance,
very quickly, it's good that you have been able to clear the air on this particular matter, because we also had our reporters there. Now you're putting clarity into what you said on that day, telling everyone that what you want is something that has to do with the rebuilding of Nigeria's northeast. Very quickly then, in a few seconds, how soon would you love to see that come?
Come again?
How soon would you like to see a convocation of that summit or conference?
Yeah, as soon as possible. It's not, again, for me to put a time frame, but, I understand that government is working to put together all the initiatives under one umbrella, and, I believe that it should take place before they go to work, so that as they're being appointed to go to work, there is a document they have, which, gives them a clear plan, actionable plan that guides them in going about the business of reconstruction and rebuilding, of that part of the country.
Mohammed Kumaila, I would like to thank you so much for spending time with us here on Sunrise Daily. He is the chairman, Northern Reawakening Forum. Sunrise Daily takes a moment and we'll be looking at same matter from another perspective shortly.